Good afternoon, Aggie Pride. Welcome back to our Monday weekly press conference. North Carolina A&T is coming off a really tough loss on Saturday. My mic's. We go back on the road this week to play Stony Brook. It's our first road game since Testing. We go back on the road for the first time 6 October 4. We play Stony Brook up at Stony Brook, New York. Kickoff is at 12 p.m. Without further ado, let's bring up our head coach, Mr. Shawn Gibbs.
That's what it is. Good morning. I'd like to start off, like always, by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for all that he has done and all that he will continue to do. Obviously, this game was very, very disappointing. It was an embarrassing loss. They took us behind the woodshed and just wore us out. I feel like we were out-coached. They played more physical than us, and honestly, I feel like they played harder than we did, which was very disappointing. Other than the first drive that we had offensively, I don't feel like we were ever able to really get in a rhythm. And even that drive, that ended in a 56-yard field goal by Money Brown, school record, so congrats to him. Defensively, we couldn't get them stopped. Gave up 145 yards rushing. They averaged 6 yards a carry and scored 4 touchdowns on the ground. And we gave up 5 plays of over 28 yards in the passing game. Offensively, we had 143 yards rushing, and that's not our standard, and even that's deceptive because 60 of that came on a scramble by Nelson Lane. We only threw for 116 yards, 15 to 32, only 46%. 6 of 7 on third down, 35%, and they were 5 of 10, which is 50%. We were 0 for 1 in the red zone, and they were 4 for 4. And then on top of all that, we had a punt blocked. So everything that could possibly go wrong seems like it did. But hats off to Towson and their coaching staff. They did a great job of getting their guys ready to play, and I didn't have our team ready to go, and that led to an embarrassing loss. But just like every other week, at this time of the week, it's time for us to flush that, move on to our next opponent, Stony Brook, who is similar to Towson. They beat Towson, well-coached team. They play hard, top 5 in the CAA in total offense and defense. Got a really good running back. I think he's the second leading rusher in the conference. So we got our hands full. And so tomorrow we got to go back to work and find a way to get prepared to play a better brand of football up at Stony Brook.
So, Coach, after a game like that, do you just try to maybe say that's an anomaly, or are you concerned that this might be a step back from the progress you had made previously?
No, I'm not going to look at it like a step back. I hope we can learn from it. It's been 2 games this year where we get into it with the team before the game, and both of those games ended up with us getting 60 points put on us. So I think we need to learn to just go out, focus on what's important, and that's playing football and doing that. And if we can do that and stay focused, I think we can be a way better football team than we showed on Saturday. So, I'm not going to look at it like a step back. It's embarrassing, and we need to do something about it.
Do you think that teams might be kind of targeting those pre-game antics to get you guys off your focus a little bit?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say whether they're doing that intentionally or not. But it doesn't matter. Just because somebody provokes you, that doesn't mean you have to react to it. The thing about football, somebody makes you mad. Once they put that ball down, you get a chance to do something about it. So we just got to focus on what's important, and that's playing a clean football game. And if we can do that, then we'll have a chance in any game that we play.
And I know the freshman quarterback, he had struggled previously. Actually, I think he got benched at halftime, and it seemed like he got comfortable almost early on, immediately in the game. Are you, I guess in hindsight, do you kind of wish maybe you put more things for him to be confused about, more exotic blitzes, more pressure?
Well, when you do that, you're going to play man coverage, and you got to cover them guys. So, it's pick your poison. The problem is we gave him way too much time to throw the football. Whether you blitzing or you rushing 4 or whatever, you can't give him all day to throw the football, and you can't let him get comfortable. So we got to find a way to generate some pass rush, whether that be through bringing more pressure or playing coverage. But either way, the best pass defense is the pass rush. And there were times where we got back there and had him and couldn't get him down.
Hey, Coach. After the game on Saturday, you talked about needing to decrease the gaps between the good and the bad for this team. Now that you kind of sat with it a little bit, do you have any ideas about what kind of needs to be done to address that, or are there any particular messages you're kind of sharing with the team to get onto the same page about that?
Well, that's on me. I got to find a way to make sure that we're as focused as we need to be at all times. So that starts and ends with me. I got to make sure I'm doing everything in my power to keep these guys focused, because like I said, it's way too big of a difference in the way we played against William and Mary and the way we played against North Carolina Central and Towson. And you look at those 3 teams, they're all similar. So how do you play good against one, should have beaten one, and then get demolished by the other 2? So that's something internally that we got to work on, something we got to figure out as coaches and players as to why is the gap so big. Are we too comfortable? Like I've said 1,000 times, this is miserable. Losing is absolutely miserable, and I'm trying to do everything in my power to stop this feeling from happening. And I just need more people to jump on board and get this thing on the right path.
Good morning, Coach. Despite the team's struggles, what are you doing to keep the players uplifted and in good spirits?
Well, they're in pretty good spirits. Just trying to encourage them and letting them know we got 3 games left as a team. After those 3 games, this version of North Carolina A&T football would never be together again. So, we got to cherish these moments. This team means a whole lot to me. I love each and every guy on the team, and I want to make sure that we go out the right way. So it's just all about enjoying the time that we have left together.
Coach, you're not necessarily used to seeing these type of results in games. What do you do individually to kind of navigate this type of adversity?
First thing we do is we get on the recruiting trail and we go find us some dogs that will never let this happen to us again. Internally, we just got to get our guys focused and let them know that we're not that bad. What we put on the field on Saturday, that's not us. I don't know who it is, but that's not us. We're way better than that. So we just got to stay focused and stay true to the process, trust the process, keep grinding. And then the coaches, we need to beat the bushes and go find some dogs.
What would be the keys to practice this week if you could name maybe the top 3?
We're definitely going to have to work on third down, which we do every week. But we're going to have to put a special emphasis on that because we've been bad on third down, cutting down on penalties. 2 weeks in a row, we've had 11 penalties, so we can't win like that. And then probably the third thing is just staying together and having fun. I think that's important at this time of the year. Our record's not where we want it to be, but God still blesses us with the opportunity to go out and play this game that we love each and every day. So we got to enjoy that and cherish the moments that we have.
Coach, you guys haven't been able to win on the road this season. What's the difference between winning at home and winning a game on the road?
Well, winning on the road is tougher. You got to change a lot of things. You got to travel. You're going into their environment, place that they're familiar with. But it's really just a mentality. I enjoy playing on the road. I like the challenge of going into somebody else's house and territory and trying to beat them on their turf. But it's really just a mentality, because I don't care whether you're at home or you're away. It's 11 people on the field, and all that other stuff doesn't matter. Just focus on what we need to do to win the game, and we'll be okay.
Playing Stony Brook this upcoming week, does that give you opportunities? Playing Stony Brook this upcoming week, going to New York, does that give you new opportunities as far as recruiting to maybe target some guys you normally wouldn't have a chance to touch? And how's that work when you're doing it in season, but you're on a road trip? How's that recruiting process work?
Well, eventually we'd like for it to work. Once we get up there, we can send some coaches out and hit some schools. But right now we're just in contact with people, and it'll give people in the New York area a chance to see us. And our main emphasis is going to be recruiting the state of North Carolina. We got to recruit our backyard first. But any of these opportunities we get to go to Virginia or New York, because there's really good football players up there too, we want to take advantage of it. So in the future, we want to make sure that we can get out on the road. But going up there on Saturday or Friday when we get there, we'll just be at the hotel and probably make some phone calls.
And people hear about the South, Florida, Texas, California. What type of area is that New York, New Jersey area as far as football comes?
Slept on, especially New Jersey. New Jersey has a lot of speed that I don't think people think about. And I really, personally, I like players from the North and the Midwest because of the conditions that they play in throughout their high school career. They got to practice in that stuff. So those guys generally have a lot of grit. And for where I'm trying to take this program and where we're trying to go, we know that eventually we're going to be a playoff team. And to win games in the playoffs, you got to be able to play in cold weather. So I think it's important to recruit some guys from that are used to it and don't have to adjust so much.
It's not a loaded question, but being a member of the Coastal Athletic Association, does that give you any more entryway into some players' locker rooms, the recruits?
Great question. Absolutely. Because, for a long time when we were recruiting, people would negatively recruit against us and say the conference that we were in. Can you say that now? We're in the CAA. We're in one of the better conferences in FCS football. So that takes that out of the equation. People can't hate on us about that anymore. So we're, telling kids that you're going to have an opportunity to play at the best HBCU in the world, one of the top universities in the world, and in one of the top FCS conferences. So being in this conference does give us a leg up.
Coach, obviously it was a little bit of a tough afternoon for Kevin Wright on Saturday. What was just kind of your advice and message to him as he was kind of navigating that situation?
Well, get back to the basics and focus on what's important, the fundamentals. Like most of the time when you see somebody have a bad game, it's because of their fundamentals with rushing throws. And, speaking honestly, it ain't like he had a lot of time. And, a lot of people would not be comfortable in the situation that he was in, but you just got to be a quarterback. You got to be a man. You got to stand in there. You got to use good fundamentals and make good decisions at all time, regardless of what's going on around you. That's what we need our quarterback to do. And we got to do a better job of protecting him and making him feel comfortable. But he just needs to relax. It's a bad game. He had a bad game. And he can play better, and he knows that. So just focus on the positive. Don't listen to the negatives. Don't worry about that. Everybody that's ever lived has had a bad day. Nobody's perfect, and he has the opportunity to get better, and he definitely has the ability. Now it's just about the application of that ability.
You mentioned kind of emphasizing protecting the quarterback. Are there any other kind of top of the list items you have for specifically the offensive line this week?
Well, we got to find a way to run the football. And running the football essentially is about getting a hat on a hat. So we got to make sure there's no free hitters. We can't get our runner hit in the backfield. We got to create a new line of scrimmage and get some movement. And then not just on the offensive line, when there is a crease, our running backs got to hit it. And we got to make somebody miss. You got to be your own blocker sometimes. We can't block everybody. There's no play design in the country where we're going to be able to block 11 people. It's going to be 2 or 3 people that's usually free, and that's your guy. That's why you're on scholarship. So you got to run through his face, or you got to make him miss, whatever you got to do. But it's not just the offensive line. It's all the way around. We got to run better. We got to block better. And, if we can do those 2 things, I think we have more success than we've been having.
Thank you.
I know that you mentioned like improvements on your recruitment, but what are some other adjustments that you and your other coaching staff are planning to make in this off season so that like the result, like things that have been happening this season won't happen next year?
Well, it begins with recruiting. That's the most important thing. You got to get the right people in here. We're going to have to go out and recruit some more players. We're going to have to recruit guys that's on the team right now who people are going to try to come and poke from us. And then, outside of recruiting, we got to work on us. We got to develop a killer mentality. We got to develop a winning mentality. We got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We got to see A&T for what it is. And in my opinion, we're the top FCS program in the country. And if we have people in our program that don't see it like that, whether it's coaches or players, they need to go somewhere else because we're trying to go to the top. And if you don't believe we can get there, then we won't with you.
I'm just kind of off the wall, but last night, Jaden Daniels from Washington, he suffered a dislocated elbow, kind of similar to our guys earlier in the year. Is that just a freak thing that's happening this year? It seems like, I guess because it's us, but I've seen a whole lot this year. Do you feel like that's kind of a weird occurrence?
I didn't know that. I hadn't been able to watch a lot of TV or sports or anything, but yeah, I mean, it has to be freaky when you look at the way that Brax and Champ dislocated their elbows. It was just some freaky stuff. So, Coach Harbor and I have already talked about, what can we do to maybe prepare them more for that stuff. And we've incorporated more tumbling and stuff in our off season so guys can learn how to fall. I think it might be something, also with, a different generation. These kids ain't outside playing and falling and stuff all the time now. They're on their PlayStation, so maybe they don't develop the muscles that you need for that. So we're just trying to figure out, any way that we can help our guys. But I think, I didn't see Daniel's injury, but Braxton's was definitely a freak injury, and so was Champ's. But, to have 2 of them in one season lets us know that we do need to prepare for something like that in the future and try to prevent it if we can.
Is it realistic to expect either one of those guys to make an appearance this season?
At this point, I really don't know, Samaj. Like, they haven't practiced, either one of them. They've been out there running and stuff, and throwing the ball, but neither one of them have been in pads. So, I can't speak on that, but I wouldn't say that it's probable for them to be back by the end of the season.
And I guess even with his struggles last week, KJ White is probably going to still go into this week as the QB1 on the depth chart.
Well, like I say all the time, it's still, every week we're going to have an open competition. I will say that I think old Nelson deserves some more reps, see what he can do, because, that play he made was dynamic, and that's what I expect out of him, and that's what the future holds for him. So, yeah, I trust and believe in KJ still. I'm always going to. But it's an open competition. So if somebody comes in and has a great week of practice and they deserve to start, then they'll start.
I have one question. As far as recruiting goes, with this new normal of revenue sharing NIL, realistically, can you get somebody in the transfer portal for free, or is there going to be a price tag on bringing a player to this at the FCS level? Make a difference next year? Does everybody have a price tag now?
No, everybody doesn't. But now I can, say pretty definitively that if a kid is coming from a FBS program, then he's probably got a price tag. But, you know, some of the better players out here have been from Division II and FCS schools, and a lot of FCS players in the portal are going to be wanting something. That's what everybody's getting. So a lot of people have their hand out, and you know, deservedly so. I mean, people are paying, so why wouldn't I try to get something if I'm a kid or a parent? But yeah, there are kids out there that you can get in the portal where you don't have to pay nothing, and they're really good players. And so, you know, we're going to have to get a couple guys out of the portal, but it's got to be the right ones. And honestly, for me, the biggest thing for me is he a fit for us? You can bring in somebody with all the ability in the world, but if he's not a fit, he's not really going to help us, because what we need is a fit for us from a cultural standpoint. And then if he fits culturally and has the ability, then we'll take some transfers out the portal, you know, when it opens up.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, we're going to transition right into our internet show. You can watch it on youtube.com at NCAT Aggies. So give us about 5 minutes. In the meantime, please enjoy some refreshments. Thank you.